One spring morning, Mio asks her cat to watch the house while she heads to work. During her commute, she reflects on how she doesn't feel much different from her school days. Suddenly, a snowflake lands on her, and she notices Yukiya standing nearby with his legs frozen to the ground. He explains that it's his first day on the job, and that he's so nervous that his legs have frozen up. Mio tries pouring her tea on his frozen legs, but nothing happens. Instead, she offers him tea and a snack, which helps him relax. Finally, the ice cracks, and Yukiya tells her that he is a descendant of a Yukiana but prefers spring over winter. He thanks her for the tea, and the two part ways, each wondering if they'll meet again. At work, Mio is surprised to find that she and Yukiya are not only in the same company, but also seated right next to each other. Yukiya is so happy that he accidentally causes snow to swirl around him. This prompts Kori, a descendant of a fox spirit, to rush over and display her ears and tail. Saima then interrupts and introduces himself to the group. After work, Mio tells her cat about her eventful day. The next day, Yukiya accidentally causes a small snowstorm but quickly stops himself. Mio notices a picture of flowers, and Yukiya confesses that while he loves flowers, he can't touch them. Moved by this, Mio searches for a way to help him and brings him straw mulch, hoping it might solve his problem. Yukiya is touched by her thoughtful gesture. Later at work, Yukiya causes a brief blizzard and silently admits to himself that he loves Mio. During a conversation, Yukiya mentions that he loves cats, so Mio shows him a picture of hers. He expresses a desire to touch one someday. The next day, she brings him some of her cat's fallen whiskers, explaining that it works as a protective charm. Back at his home, Yukiya wonders how he can repay Mio for her kindness. Remembering that she wanted to try a limited edition dessert, he searched for it for an entire week and finally brought it to her. She thanked him and commented that the snowman he had made to keep the dessert cold was cute, which made Yukiya so happy that he caused another small blizzard. At the end of the workday, Yukiya loses an important document and feels disheartened. He creates a snow hut for himself as he searches for the lost papers. Concerned, Mio offers to help, but Yukiya insists he can manage. Later, after work hours, she returns with coffee for him, which cheers him up so much that he accidentally freezes the coffee. Meanwhile, Salma falls ill, but insists on working. Yukiya takes on most of his tasks so Salma can go home early. When Mio passes by and compliments him for being so nice, it leaves Yukiya feeling giddy. After returning home, Mio notices her cat sleeping on a toy TV she had given him, but he immediately leaves when he sees her. Later, the company announces that their employee workshop will take place in Okinawa, which stresses Yukiya out as he imagines the worst. Kamori, Saima, and Mio discuss their upcoming company trip to Okinawa. Meanwhile, Yukiya freezes his legs again, feeling anxious. He worries that he might get excited and accidentally cause a snowstorm that would ruin everything. Determined to help, Mio begins researching ways for Yukiya to enjoy the beach. The next day, Mio gives Yukiya a surf drum, explaining that it might help him get used to the sound of the waves. She adds that she hopes he can join them because she'll miss him if he doesn't go on the retreat. This confession flusters Yukiya, motivating him to start training. In the days leading up to the company retreat, Yukiya works hard to stay calm. The day of the trip arrives, and they settle at the resort. Once the seminars for the day are over, Kamori suggests they all go enjoy the sea at the beach. Yukiya admits that the heat will cause him to melt, so he needs to stay in the shade. However, he thanks Mio for the surf drum, which allows him to enjoy the beautiful view with her. Mio tells Yukiya that she's been to Okinawa before, but a storm had ruined her trip, so she was looking forward to a second chance to enjoy the beach. She then gave him a travel guidebook that she made herself. Yukiya is so touched by this gesture that he nearly causes a blizzard but manages to calm himself down just in time. Mio shows Yukiya photos of her cat and tries to express her love for her cat using a Kansai accent, which Yukiya finds adorable. After another full day of seminars, Yukiya goes shopping for souvenirs and bumps into Mio. They both reach for the same Shisa lion statue, but Yukiya lets Mio have it. In return, she picks out a different one for him. Overcome with joy, Yukiya causes it to snow. People are delighted by the pretty snowfall, and Mio compliments him on a job well done. The next day, Yukiya wakes up to a heat wave, causing him to panic. He searches the hotel's shop for ice but has no luck. Meanwhile, Mio notices his absence at breakfast and decides to look for him. She finds him hiding in the shade, but by then, Yukiya has shrunk down to the size of a child. Mio tells him to wait while she searches for ice and returns with an ice pop from the buffet. As she watches how cute he is, she pats his head, only to be shocked when he suddenly returns to his regular size. By the end of the day's training, the office celebrates with a feast. Kimori expresses her desire to see fireworks, but worries that it's too late to find a good spot. Mio leads the group to a secluded area where they can enjoy the fireworks. They take photos to mark the occasion, and while browsing through her gallery, Mio notices a picture of the small Yukiya. She decides to keep the photo a secret. The next day, the group is debriefed by their manager, who announces that they will be getting new assignments at the beginning of the week. Yukiya feels troubled by the thought of being separated from Mio. Yukiya anxiously awaits news about his new assignment, praying to Nara's whiskers that he stays in the same department as Mio. Meanwhile, after her bath, Mio scrolls through her phone and feels happy about the close friendship she's formed. When Yukiya finally receives the message confirming that he'll remain in the same department as Mio, the next day they discover they'll be sitting next to each other again, prompting Yukiya to cause a blizzard in his excitement. Grateful for all the good fortune, he wonders if it's Nara's whiskers at work. Reflecting on how much Mio helped him during the retreat, he decides he wants to repay her. On his commute, Yukiya sees a post suggesting that taking someone to a nice restaurant is a good way to say thanks. He overhears Kamori and Mio discussing their favorite foods, but when he tries to ask Mio directly, she says she isn't picky and likes all cuisines. That night, Yukiya researches restaurants, determined to pick a place that will make her happy. The next day, Mio finds Yukiya completely frozen at work and asks if he's okay. Mio offers to massage him, but her strength surprises him, leaving him in agony. Encouraged by her words to have confidence, Yukiya gathers the courage to ask Mio to dinner. She agrees, and Yukiya leaves to make a reservation. That evening, they arrive at a luxurious restaurant. When Mio compliments the food, Yukiya is so happy that he causes a light snowfall, prompting other guests to wonder if it's part of the show. Mio reflects on how difficult it is to talk to him, worrying that Yukiya might be bored because she's speaking so much. Mio's phone rings and she steps out to take the call. A waiter comments that Yukiya is lucky to be on a date, and Yukiya happily agrees. When Mio returns and overhears him, she blushes. Yukiya is equally embarrassed and falls off his chair. The next day, Saima tries to get Yukiya's attention, finally succeeding when he mentions Mio. Meanwhile, Kamori questions Mio about her feelings for Yukiya. Eavesdropping, Yukiya overhears Mio saying that they aren't close and she doesn't have his number or know what he does on his day off. However, she admits she likes him very much and wants to build a snowman with him. Saima is surprised they haven't exchanged contact information yet. Later, Yukiya finally asks for Mio's number. Noticing that her contact name is Nara, he finds it charming. She promises to send pictures of her cat when she gets home. Happy to have gotten closer, Mio sends him a photo of herself and her cat, which Yukiya finds adorable. He tries to save it but accidentally freezes his phone. The next morning, Yukiya receives a good morning text from Mio and feels determined to do his best at work. He notices that Mio's lock screen is a picture from their retreat and feels giddy that he's part of it. Mio, meanwhile, is relieved that Yukiya didn't see her home screen, which is an embarrassing photo of him when he was melting. Later, while walking back from buying lunch, they run into Kotori, who surprises Mio by growing wings and greeting Yukiya, saying it's been a while. Yukiya introduces Kotori to Mio, a descendant of Phoenix. Kotori meets the rest of the group and shares that he used to be an artist. He shows pictures of his artwork, but his colleagues respond with unsure gazes. Otanashi interrupts and calls Kotori back to work. Later, Mio accidentally bumps into Yukiya, dropping her documents. As he helps pick them up, Yukiya notices a flyer for George the kitten too. Mio tries to hide it, but Yukiya has already seen it. She admits she finds the show cute and watched the first movie with several children. She invites him to watch the second movie with her, and he agrees. That night, Yukiya texts Mio that he finished watching the first movie, only to find out she was watching it too. Though Yukiya tries to sleep, his nervous excitement keeps him awake, and he ends up freezing his bed. The next day, they meet outside the movie theater, and Yukiya realizes they're finally spending time together on their day off. Meanwhile, Saima is surprised to see them at the movies, but decides to leave them alone. He watches a different film and coincidentally meets Kotori, who takes the seat next to him. During the movie, Yukiya accidentally causes wind and snow to appear, much to the delight of the children, who think it's part of the movie's special effects. During an emotional scene, Yukiya notices Mio crying and hands her a handkerchief. She wipes her tears and thanks him. After the movie, Mio asks what happens when he cries. Yukiya says it's a secret, and Mio jokingly replies that she hopes to see it one day, quickly correcting herself to say she doesn't wish for him to cry. Yukiya considers inviting her to dinner but realizes it's too early. Instead, Mio takes the lead and invites him to a cafe. The following day, both Yukiya and Mio end up working overtime. Yukiya, excited to be alone with her, offers to make coffee for them while waiting for calls. Mio mentions that Kori invited her to dinner, but she had to decline because of work. Kamori ended up inviting Saima instead, and they were joined by Otanashi and Kotori. At dinner, the group discusses the movie Rice. Kotori admits he wanted to see it because Otanashi mentioned she liked rice. Saima casually mentions seeing Yukiya and Mio at the theater, which excites Kamori. Back at the office, Yukiya struggles to cheer up Mio for missing dinner with her friends. Mio suggests they play Shiratori. Yukiya agrees but accidentally gives her words ending in su. Eventually, Mio says sukiyaki, almost saying suki, which means love. As their game continues, their friends try to guess which movie they watched on their date. While playing, Mio receives a call and learns that her overtime is being extended. She doodles during the call and shows it to Yukiya. They try to draw each other and make each other's drawings into their messenger icon. Mio and Yukiya send their friends their drawings, but their friends are so overjoyed that they forget to respond. Eventually, Mio and Yukiya receive the phone call they've been waiting for, marking the end of overtime. Yukiya invites her out to dinner, and she happily accepts. Yukiya notices an ad for a George the Kitten plate set and starts collecting points by buying bread at the convenience store. During his break, he eats with Mio, and Kori joins them with instant udon. The next day, Saima tells Kamori that her tail is flipping up her skirt when he nervously admits he finds her tail cute. She playfully teases him back. Kamori struggles through her morning routine and arrives at work exhausted. Mio offers Kamori candy to energize her. Kamori is disappointed when the candy box contains a raccoon figure instead of a fox. Saima, noticing the toy, tells her he used to collect them as a kid, which sparks Kamori's interest in collecting them. Over the next few days, Kamori finds new toys mysteriously left on her desk, and she starts to wonder who her secret helper is. Meanwhile, Yukiya realizes he miscalculated and won't be able to collect enough points for the plate set before the deadline. Kamori eventually gets the last toy she needs from her candy box, feeling bittersweet that her helper's gifts will stop. However, when Saima notices the chick figure she received, he reveals that he's been the one leaving the toys for her. He tells her a new set of toys will be released soon, which includes a fox figure, exciting Kamori. She thanks him and teases him about being unusually kind to her. Saima nearly confesses his feelings but quickly covers it up by saying it's his love for foxes that drives him. Meanwhile, Mio offers her point sheik to Yukiya, explaining that she won't be able to win the plate set either, but that by combining their points, Yukiya can at least get it. Yukiya wins the set and gives one of the plates to Mio. At that moment, Katori walks in asking for help. He explains that Otanashi has been ignoring him ever since he confessed his desire to spend his life making her happy. Yukiya and Mio realize that his choice of words may have caused a misunderstanding. Despite Katori's despair, Yukiya jokes that as a phoenix, he can always revive if Otanashi truly hates him. Mio reassures Katori that Otanashi likely doesn't hate him, considering how hard he works, which cheers him up instantly. Kori, still love-struck, loudly proclaims his feelings for Otanashi as she walks in to call him back to work. She scolds him for slacking off, but he says that it's his lunch break. Eager to follow her on her rounds, Katori offers to join her, but she turns him down. Mio suggests that Otanashi might be misinterpreting Katori's words, but Katori admits he means exactly what he says. He confesses that he fell in love with Otanashi even before joining the company, was impressed by her speed, and grew to love everything about her after working alongside her. Mio encourages Katori to find different ways to express his feelings. Katori tries flirting with Mio as practice, which displeases Yukiya. Mio wistfully mentions that she wishes she could have experienced school life with him, which leads Yukiya to imagine them as schoolmates. However, Mio quickly adds that she's perfectly happy with her current life. Later at work, a manager hands Yukiya 2 tickets to Nimi Land. In the office, Mio notices Yukiya avoids eye contact. Kamori suggests Mio train him to look people in the eye. Mio agrees and immediately instructs him to look at her. During the attempt, Mio is the first to break contact, feeling flustered. Yukiya leaves to calm himself down and runs into the manager, who offers him 2 tickets to Nikamil Land. Yukiya assumes the manager will go with him, but the manager clarifies he isn't interested in the amusement park. Instead, he suggests that Yukiya take Mio. Yukiya, thrilled, agrees to go with Mio. Later, Kamori catches Yukiya researching Nimi Land and asks who he's going with. When he admits he's going with Mio, Kamori teases him, saying she's an annual pass holder and can offer tips. Mio overhears the conversation and offers Kamori her ticket, but Kamori declines, repeating that she doesn't need it. Mio then suggests that Kamori join them anyway. Feeling Yukiya's glare, Kamori quickly invites Saima to avoid facing him alone. On Sunday, the group arrives at the amusement park, and Kamori takes the lead. Mio notices a lost girl and offers to take her to the Lost Child Center to find her parents. Mio and Yukiya head in that direction, leaving Kamori and Saima alone. Saima suggests they enjoy the park without the others, which flusters Kamori. At the Lost Child Center, Mio decides to stay with the little girl until her parents arrive. Yukiya, touched by her kindness, insists on staying too. He creates miniature snowmen that make the girl happy. When her parents finally arrive and pick her up, Yukiya attempts to call Saima to rejoin the group, but Saima ignores the call. Mio apologizes for wasting Yukiya's time, but he reassures her that he's having fun just by seeing others enjoy themselves. Mio expresses that she finds Nimi Land a fun and cute place and mentions how much she loves cats. Yukiya agrees, adding that her cat is especially cute. Yukiya notices a boy falling and helps him up. Mio comments that Yukiya would make a great father since he's made 2 children smile that day. When they wonder where to go next, Yukiya suggests the Nango Goro cruise. During the ride, Mio excitedly points out a cat figure that resembles Nemo. They continue touring the park, trying different rides and indulging in cat-themed food. On the Ferris wheel, Mio admits that she started enjoying seeing other people happy, which causes Yukiya to create a snowfall out of pure joy, amusing the parkgoers. At the souvenir shop, Mio suggests they buy matching mugs. Yukiya innocently suggests they use them at the office, which flusters Mio, making her worry about what their coworkers might say. Yukiya tries to tell Mio something important, but Kamori interrupts, urging them to hurry as the grand parade is about to start. The group enjoys the parade together, snapping pictures during the fireworks show. Saima remarks that the experience feels reminiscent of their trip to Okinawa. On the commute home, Kori chatters away, but Mio motions for her to keep quiet since Yukiya has dozed off. At their respective homes, Yukiya and Mio both admire their matching mug sets. The group chats about what they would do if they won 1 billion yen. Mio says she'd love to drink a Starbucks special drink every day. Kamori shows her an ad for their Halloween special, pumpkin black pepper, but Mio hasn't tried it yet. Yukiya mentions that he'd like to try it too. After a client meeting, Yukiya finds an almost empty Starbucks and orders 4 pumpkin black peppers. He uses his snowman to keep the drinks cool and heads back to the office. When he catches Mio on her break, he realizes she also bought everyone the special drink. Embarrassed, Yukiya tries to hide his batch, but Mio is amused and suggests they share all the drinks, including with Katori and Otanashi. Yukiya also proposes giving one to their manager. Saima spots a poster for the company's Halloween costume party, an event started by their president, a descendant of a Nurera Heian. As the president appears, Mio offers her the last drink. The president gratefully accepts, but warns Mio not to expect any advantage in winning the costume contest, where the prize is 100,000 yen. They meet up after work to discuss costumes, except for Katori and Otanashi, who are from a different division and will be competing against them. Yukiya fantasizes about cool costumes for Mio, but she suggests they all wear pumpkin suits, much to his disappointment. Determined to help her find the pumpkin costume, they go shopping but discover that it's sold out everywhere, both in-store and online. They decide to try other costumes, and Mio ends up trying on a vampire outfit, which flusters Yukiya. After shopping, Yukiya walks Mio home. Before saying goodbye, she flicks his forehead as a playful trick since he didn't treat her to candy when she wore the costume. He finds her cute and remains frozen in place as she heads inside. At the company, everyone finishes work and prepares for the party, but Mio is still in a client meeting. The group notices a dejected Katori, who explains that he prepared a costume for himself and a gushi but accidentally left it at home. Kimura jokes that they should just cosplay themselves, but Saima insists that Halloween costumes need to be scary. Yukiya receives a message from Myo saying she'll make it back in time for the party. He tells her about Katori's forgotten costume, and Myo suggests dressing him and Otanashi as mummies using recycled paper. The group gets to work, and Yukiya sends Myo a picture of the duo in their makeshift costumes. As the group finishes preparing in their vampire costumes, they notice that Katori and Otanashi's mummy costumes are drawing attention. Yukiya receives another message from Myo, who asks him to meet her near the changing room. When he arrives with Kamori, he panics upon seeing blood on Myo's mouth, but she quickly reassures him that it's fake. At the party, their vampire group wins first runner-up, while Katori's group takes first place. Otanashi thanks Myo for the costume idea and suggests splitting the prize since she arrived late. As they walk home, they pass the group that managed to buy the pumpkin costumes. Salma and Yukiya talk about the upcoming Christmas season, and Yukiya secretly hopes to spend Christmas with Myo. On his way home, Yukiya buys Myo a Christmas present. A week before Christmas, Kamori wins a trip to a ski resort and invites Yukiya, Myo, and Saima to make it a group Christmas outing. At the resort, Yukiya is assigned to teach Myo how to ski. Myo apologizes for making him teach her, but Yukiya reassures her that he's happy to help. He begins the lesson using vague instructions, so Myo struggles and falls right away, realizing he wasn't clear enough. Yukiya is surprised when Kamori steps in and gives Myo proper guidance. With Kamori's help, Myo quickly improves and starts skiing well. Kamori suggests they take the ski lift. Along the way, they notice tracks in the snow, and Kamori jokes that they look like her mother's tracks. Myo expresses curiosity about Kamori's mother, but Kamori laughs and clarifies that her mother is human. Saima asks Yukiya about his family, and Yukiya mentions that they're normal and that he has a little sister who just started high school. Myo is surprised, having never known this detail despite being office mates for so long. Yukiya adds that his sister works part-time at a ski lodge. When they arrive at the lodge, it turns out that Yukiya's sister, Yukin, is working there. Yukiya introduces her to the group, and Yukin proudly shares that she's also a streamer and model. Salma finds her channel and notices that her most popular video is an eating challenge. Myo finds it charming and guesses that Myo is the girl her brother often talks about, but before she can say more, she gets into an argument with Yukiya. Yukin pulls Myo aside to chat privately. She expresses concern about her brother's short temper, but Myo reassures her that Yukiya is doing well at work. Suddenly, Yukin hugs Myo and declares her love for her, and Yukiya tries to pry his sister away. The group spends Christmas Eve together with Myo making takoyaki for everyone. Myo checks if Yukiya will be okay because he's near a grill. He reassures her, and she promises to give him an extra octopus. After Myo finishes cooking, they all enjoy warm takoyaki and champagne. When they run out of alcohol, Myo and Yukiya volunteer to buy more. On their way to the store, they come across a giant Christmas tree, and Yukiya seizes the moment to give Myo his present. She opens it to find a cozy blanket. Myo smiles and says she doesn't feel cold when she's next to him. Yukiya is touched by her words and thanks her. Back at the lodge, Simon notices Yukiya and Myo have been gone for a while. Cory tells him not to worry and comments on how beautiful the snow is, and Saima agrees as he gazes at her. On the trip home, Yukiya thinks about the earrings he originally bought from Myo. He decided not to give them to her after overhearing girls say they didn't like receiving accessories they didn't ask for. As they ride back, Yukiya apologizes for his sister's behavior, but Myo reassures him that she finds it amusing to see a different side of him. Yukiya texts his sister, "Good job," and reflects on how amazing this Christmas has been. Yukiya reflects on how a year has passed since he joined the company. He goes through a few items that remind him of special memories with Myo. The company president announces that everyone can go home since there's not much work to do except clean their desks. Salma asks everyone to hand over any documents they plan to throw out. When Myo gives him a stack, she notices a drawing Yukiya made. Salma asks if Yukiya plans to discard it, but Yukiya says that he'll pass it down to his descendants instead. On her walk home, Yukiya feels cold because she left her gloves behind. Myo also forgot hers but says her hands are warm. She offers to hold his hand to share her warmth. Embarrassed, they quickly let go when a child sees them holding hands. At home, Yukiya thinks about tidying up his place but realizes there's nothing to clean. His sister, Yukin, suddenly barges in and asks him to make 108 snowmen for her stream. She shows him a picture of Myo, and Yukiya immediately starts conjuring snowmen. Later, Kamori invites the group to celebrate New Year's Eve together online. During the video call, Saima admits he's drinking barley tea before switching to alcohol. Mio eventually joins, and they notice that she and Yukiya are drinking the same brand of beer. Kamori asks to see Mio's cat, Nara, and Mio brings her cat on screen but feels embarrassed about being in her jogging pants. Kori and Otanashi join the call, both using virtual backgrounds to hide their messy rooms. Katori offers to reveal his room, but Kamori suggests they do another toast instead. Saima also switches to vodka after finishing his tea. Eventually, Katori drops his virtual background, revealing stacks of boxes of his artwork behind him. He shares that he recently moved closer to the office. Katori then suggests a group shrine visit the next day, and Mio considers wearing a kimono. Everyone agrees except Kamori, who has family plans. The following day, Yukiya arrives at the shrine early and decides to pull a fortune while waiting for the others. He draws a bad luck fortune, tries again, and gets worse luck. And on his third attempt, he gets the worst luck. Fortunately, he wakes up from the nightmare, relieved it wasn't real. At the shrine, Yukiya meets Saima, Otanashi, and Katori, all dressed in kimonos. He shares his bad dream with them, but can't help noticing that Mio is missing. After a while, Mio finally arrives, and Yukiya feels lucky to see her in a kimono. As they explore the shrine, Yukiya and Mio get separated from the group amid the crowd when Mio trips, but she's caught by Yukiya just in time. The group reconvenes when Kori shows up, revealing that her family owns the shrine and she's helping out. Kori notices that Mio and Yukiya seem closer. Saima approaches Kamori and hands her a protective charm. Meanwhile, Yukiya and Mio finally reach the center of the shrine to make their wishes. Yukiya wishes for another chance to visit the shrine with Mio by his side. Later, Yukiya is relieved to draw a fortune of medium luck and learns that Mio's birthday is in February. Yukiya notices Mio using the blanket he gave her for Christmas. As he considers giving her the present he originally bought for her, he hesitates, worrying that she might think he's being pushy. However, he musters up the courage to follow through. Meanwhile, Kori enters their department soaked from the rain, followed by a Tony, who informs the group that the trains have stopped running. This concerns Mio and Kori, who dread the crowded transfer buses for their commute home. To avoid the hassle, the girls decide to stay at a nearby business hotel, while the guys make plans to stay at Katori's house. Later, at Katori's place, Saima and Katori start playing video games while Yukiya's thoughts linger on Mio. At the hotel, Kamori hides under a blanket, admitting she's afraid of the thunderstorm. Mio recalls how her cat was also scared as a kitten and comforts Kamori, telling her that she'll always be there for her. Otanashi teases Kamori about having a boyfriend, hinting at her closeness with Saima. Kamori denies it, insisting that they're just colleagues who happen to be around each other often. Kamori retaliates by asking Otanashi about Katori, to which Otanashi responds that there's nothing romantic between them as she's merely mentoring him. The girls laugh, teasing each other, while Mio listens quietly. Mio admits that she doesn't know what being in love feels like, but a text message from Yukiya suddenly catches her attention. Her smile doesn't go unnoticed by the other girls, who instantly decide that it's the perfect time to start drinking. Back at Katori's, the boys wonder what Yukiya is doing, so Mio sends him a picture of her and the girls drinking at the hotel. Yukiya, feeling left out, accidentally freezes the room in his sadness. The next morning, Yukiya tries to catch up to Mio on the way to work, but his nerves get the better of him and he freezes himself. He later wakes up from this bad dream, feeling anxious but determined. At the office, he overhears Kamori learning that today is Mio's birthday. He also finds out that Mio has dinner plans with her parents, which pushes him to act quickly to give her the gift before she leaves. Yukiya tries multiple times to approach Mio, but each attempt is thwarted either by her being busy or him being called away to work. Finally, after helping her with a task, he gathers the nerve to ask if he can walk her home that evening. During their walk, Yukiya grows nervous and accidentally freezes the area around him. Instead of being upset, Mio is delighted and marvels at the snowy scenery, asking if this could be her birthday gift. Yukiya shyly hands her the actual present, wishing her a happy birthday. Mio immediately tries on the earrings he gives her, asking if they look okay. Yukiya tells her she looks great. That night, Mio takes her parents out to a restaurant to celebrate her birthday and quietly wonders what she should get Yukiya for his birthday. Kori eavesdrops on a conversation between Yukiya and Saima and mistakenly thinks Yukiya has asked Mio to live with him. Bursting with excitement, Corey finds Mio and congratulates her, leaving Mio confused as she has no plans to move anywhere. Later, Yukiya confronts Kamori about the misunderstanding. Kamori defends herself, claiming she heard him say it. Yukiya clarified that he was talking about asking a stray cat to live with him. He shows her a picture of the cat and explains that he has been working on controlling his snow powers to avoid making blizzards when the cat is around, and it has taken days to get the cat to even approach him. When Mio arrives, she notices the cat supplies and listens as Yukiya shares his plan to adopt the stray. She offers to help him catch the cat, and Yukiya invites her to join him after work. After work, the two stroll through the neighborhood searching for the stray cat. Mio admires the scenery as they walk. They eventually find the cat, and Mio effortlessly gets it to approach her. Yukiya feels a bit jealous of both Mio's easy way with cats and the cat for being in Mio's arms. Mio notices the cat seems trained and wonders if it's a lost pet. Just as they're discussing it, they spot a poster of a missing cat. They return the cat to its owner and say their goodbyes. Yukiya apologizes to Mio for keeping her out late but admits it worked out well. Though he creates icicles out of sorrow, Mio suggests that Yukiya visit her cat if he ever needs a cuddle. She offers Sunday as a good time, and Yukiya agrees. When Sunday arrives, Yukiya wakes up in a great mood. He buys snacks from a cake shop before heading to Mio's apartment. Upon arrival, he's greeted by Mio and her cat, and he remarks that Nero looks even cuter in real life than in pictures. Mio invites him inside, and Yukiya gives her the cake he brought. He radiates happiness, causing different snowflakes to appear. Mio notices and asks about it, and Yukiya explains it's diamond dust, which only shows up when he's truly happy. Mio guesses that it must be because Nero meowed at him. As they settle in, Mio brings out new cat toys, but Nero is more interested in the box. Mio goes to get cat treats so they can all snack together. When Yukiya offers to help, their hands accidentally touch as they reach for plates, creating an awkward moment. Just then, the doorbell rings, and to Yukiya's surprise, his sister Yukin shows up. She reveals that she's been visiting Mio's apartment after work. Although Yukiya tries to ask her to leave, she decides to stay for cake. Mio remarks that it's more fun with more people, and shyly asks if she can visit his place next time. Yukiya accidentally creates a blizzard, causing Nero to scamper off, but Mio reassures him that her cat is just curious about the snow. By Monday, Yukiya is still glowing with happiness, and his colleagues quickly notice. When Mio walks into the office, she observes the high spirits of everyone, leading her to smile. Later, Yukiya and Mio meet at the train station for their work trip. While waiting for the ride, they grab drinks and boxed lunches, opting for the octopus pot so they can keep the container as a souvenir. It marks their third matching set. Once aboard the train, they discuss the assignment their manager trusted them with. Yukiya asks about Mio's cat Nero, and she reassures him that the cat will be fine alone for one night. Yukiya suggests they eat at a nearby restaurant when they reach the hotel. Mio admits she's nervous about the trip but feels comforted that Yukiya is her partner for this project. When they arrive, they immediately dive into work, attending meetings and completing their tasks. At the end of the day, as they head to the hotel, Yukiya suddenly trips and collapses. He starts to melt and shrinks into his little form. Mio feels his forehead and notices he's burning up. She suggests buying him ice cream to cool down, but Yukiya explains that he'll just have to wait for the fever to pass. Mio cancels their dinner plans and insists on going to the hotel to rest. Once inside Mio's room, she proposes that they share it while he's unwell so she can take care of him. Yukiya protests, but Mio insists. As they go back and forth, Yukiya accidentally falls on top of her. Embarrassed, he moves away when his phone rings. The manager assigns him a report that he needs to submit right away. Mio offers to write the report for him so he can rest. After finishing the work, she heads out to buy him something to eat, like gelatin. As she leaves, Yukiya worries that he's only causing her trouble. When Mio returns, she finds Yukiya asleep in his melted form and admires how adorable he is as he sleeps. He eventually wakes up in his normal form and notices Mio asleep on the couch. Feeling guilty for taking her bed, he admires her quietly, but doesn't want to disturb her. In the morning, Mio wakes up and sees Yukiya is back to normal, though still a bit unwell. She realizes he stayed up because he felt bad about using the bed but doesn't dwell on it, instead offering him breakfast. They eat convenience store food and coffee together in the room before checking out. As they return to their town, they notice the cherry blossoms are in full bloom. They pause at the spot where they first met, reflecting on their journey. Yukiya thanks her for always being there, and they reminisce about how much things have changed. Mio confesses she had been nervous about not making close friends because of her reserved nature, but meeting Yukiya made everything better. Likewise, Yukiya admits he was scared of not being able to live a normal life due to his snow powers, but Mio helped him find joy in everyday moments. They share snacks just like the first time they met before heading back to the office. The usual group eagerly awaits their return, welcoming them back warmly. They meet again on a weekend, with Yukin joining for flower viewing under the cherry blossoms, and have a grand time.